This video is brought to you by RV 360 Solutions, where we're bringing the RV industry full circle by providing inspections, consulting, and training. Alright, so today we're going to take a look at this Furrion tankless water heater that's installed in my 2022 Grand Design Reflection 303 RLS. One of the concerns is the way this door sits in here and whether or not this door is going to keep water from getting inside that RV or getting inside the water heater itself. So I'm going to do a test with some water, but before I do that, I just want to take a look at the water heater. You can see there are signs of some rust and water that has most definitely been getting around this door. There's no seal or anything to hold this thing in place. Down here is a little diverter plate, and I'm going to pull that off after this test, and we'll see how much water actually got back in behind here. But the theory is this outside frame sits on here, and then you can see there's some silicone sealant around the edges. The water heater itself actually has butyl tape around the back, so theoretically water's not gonna get in around the edges, but very possibly around this door. And so if it came in around this door, it can travel along the top of the actual water heater. Now mine, there is, and it's probably not something my camera's going to pick up, but there is just a little bit of a lip, so it does hang down maybe a 1/16 of an inch farther than the cabinet does itself. So what I'm going to do is put this door back on, and we're going to do a water intrusion test. And sorry, trying to do this with one hand. I'm going to use a lot of water, so this is the way I would test, typically test a window or possibly a door on an RV. So I'm going to kind of stand back, and we're just going to flood this thing with water. Most of the water is going to hit above the door on this thing, but I also want a little bit of it to hit directly. So I'm going to let this run for about a minute. And yeah, this would be a serious downpour. So I have to say, I do expect some water to get in there. It'll be interesting to see just how much gets in there. But yeah, that door can't be completely airtight or watertight. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pull this door off, and you can see that some water most definitely got in there. You can see there's water on the sides, and if I look at the top, so the top of this thing seems to be completely dry, and you can see the water's running down, but it's dripping straight off. So there is some water on the top of this control unit, and I can see that certainly some water made it by this seal, because this exhaust is a little bit wet. So most definitely some water inside of here. You can see this little deflector plate where the vents are actually sitting in front of this. So this plate pops out of here on The newer style water heaters, let me get this out of here. This is actually attached to the door. You can see the bottom. There's definitely some water in this water heater. So most certainly water is getting by there. Now, the water is supposed to run out the sides of this thing, or out the front of this thing, and it'll just drip down and obviously run down the side of the RV. This is actually the drain tube that comes from the pressure relief valve that's actually located in the back of the water heater. So if that were leaking, then you would expect to see some water running down here, and you can see that it's probably, there's a little bit of buildup there. Probably some of that water has dripped through that tube before, but I've never had a problem with water from my water heater actually getting inside the RV. Water does get inside that cabinet, and that's no surprise to me, just because of the way this door sits. But if water were getting into my RV, then I have to look at things like this outside trim piece not having a good seal, or the butyl tape that seals behind the flange on the water heater cabinet itself. So yeah, I was expecting some water to get in there, and like I said, that was a pretty brutal test. Okay, so I just finished doing the water intrusion test on the outside of my water heater, and I came in here. So on my 303 RLS, just loosen that screw, and there's access to the back of the water heater. So it's pretty simple. And there's absolutely no sign of any kind of water leaks on the back of this water heater. Yeah, the wall's completely dry, floor is completely dry. So most definitely during that test, some water did get inside of the water heater, but certainly nothing inside the RV. And a part of the reason for that is the way that this pan for this cabinet is shaped. I would not say that this is watertight, but the way the lip comes up and then there's a little corner piece that appears to be welded. Yeah, I think if water were going to come in from the inside of that cabinet, it's going to have to get higher than that lip. And you got to remember that this thing is fairly airtight, just because there's propane and combustion happening inside that cabinet.